So why should we read the Bible? Because God can use the Bible to speak to us. When we read the Bible, we can really learn about the character of God. We can have transformation in our beliefs about ourselves and others. When we read the Bible, we really should make those things current. So Dr. Dharius Daniels gave these questions, and they are great questions to ask ourselves as we read the biblical stories. So we should ask ourselves, who are they? What can they represent? And then how is this relevant to me now? So when we get to Exodus and when we look at Israel and Egypt, Israel represents God's chosen people. These are the people that their behavior and who they are, faith has fruit in their life. And Egypt in that story represents people that believe in God, but they don't believe in the power of God in a way that it changes their behavior. And these are also people that don't believe in God at all. All right, when we look at the narrative from Israel's perspective, when we're looking at the narrative from God's chosen people. So Exodus means exits. So God has given us a book of the Bible about when it is time to make exits in life. And this applies to relationships in any environment that used to have our provision, and now that environment is just harm. Because an environment where the people begin to mistreat you from their insecurities and their emotional immaturity, that environment and that treatment represents abuse. So God says, any place that you sustain abuse, that you feel harmed from, it is time for you to leave. Now we see that when Israel gets out in the wilderness, they start recalling the things that they had back in Egypt, and it makes them long for Egypt. So we recognize that all harmful environments, they aren't the totality of harm, that they have some good in them, that we are leaving because overall, I feel harmed from being in this relationship, being in this environment with you. But mostly we leave because God's vision is always to take us to Canaan. That Egypt just really represented this transition piece in our life. That God's ultimate place for us to be is Canaan, and that is a place where we are maximally used by God. So we're in our purpose, but we are also a level of living that we can only obtain with God. And so God's vision is always for us to get to Canaan so we can leave Egypt, because we're always going to Canaan. And I feel like I mention him all the time. He's just my favorite pastor at the moment, but Dr. Dharius Daniels has an amazing series on Exodus, how to make